Welcome to video number 2. I'm really, really glad you're here, still here. I'm really glad I'm still here. So, one of the things that I started to talk about in video number 1, and in certain points, they have to be repeated over and over and over and over. So, one of the things that I mentioned towards the end is there aren't any wrong choices. All that time spent on trying to decide, on self-doubt, and on the regret afterwards is such a waste of time, right? We're just wherever we are in any moment, taking the right next step. Now, what we can do is we can, in each moment, more deeply empower ourselves, get more conscious, get more clear what the heck is going on here, how to navigate this with more skill. We can do that in every moment. And in the next moment, we keep making better and better choices. But we're always making the only choice we can in any moment based on the circumstances and our level of consciousness. It's always the right choice and the best choice. So you get to choose. In fact, you've already chosen. That's actually the truth. What you're doing in this lifetime, when, where, and how. But, that being said, we do, this is how human life works in this human reality, is we just go through the motions of deciding and choosing, and apparently deciding and choosing in every moment what we're doing next, now and next. Just said a whole lot. We're going to come back to all those concepts. But for right here and right now, whatever you're choosing in this lifetime, wherever you've been, wherever you're going, it's all okay. It's all exactly as it's meant to be, was supposed to be. What I want to talk about in this video is, if you are someone who wants to feel better, wants to feel great, who wants to feel completely at ease with yourself, who wants to feel completely at one with life, whatever you want, it's all okay. No right and wrong. But, this journey of feeling better, feeling more at peace, feeling happier ultimately, there, there, there are levels to it. This is just how I've experienced it. We get to one level, we can get to a certain level of happiness, contentment, feeling better. And then certain kinds of challenges crop up, and we get to just say at each level, okay, I'm good here. I'm good with these challenges. I got this. I can handle this. Or no, I want to go to the next level. And I just feel like it's important to name that, because it's been part of my own journey personally. And what I've seen with my clients is we aim for a certain goal that we think is going to make us feel better. Then we get there, we feel a little bit better, maybe for a while, or even ongoingly, but just a little bit better. And then we're kind of confused. Why aren't I feeling way better? Or, why isn't it more consistent? Why aren't I able to maintain that? And then we can get into self-judgment. We can get into self-doubt. We can go into powerlessness. Shit show, right? So I think it's just helpful to understand more about how the mind works, about how life works, and these kind of levels that we have to, that we can choose to reach and go beyond if we want to. And notice I just said something about how the mind works. And if you remember from the first video, I told you, yeah, I've got all those books on the neuroscience waiting for me to read. One day I'll read them, or not. We don't need to read those books to know how the mind works. All we need to do is be curious and observe. And it's really, really clear. And it's also really, really predictable. I'll tell you that too. So, yeah, I'm completely clear how this works and how we get from the shit show to feeling amazing, to feeling empowered, to feeling at peace. All right, so let's see. I made some notes earlier just to kind of help me do this a little bit cohesively in some kind of logical order. So we're going to go from level 0 to level 5. This is my own um, organization of these ideas. So, level 0 is just where we are, most of us are, and maybe most of the planet who don't care about this topic, or just where we are earlier in the journey, which is just living the life of the mind, letting the mind run my reality, my beliefs, my feelings, letting the world around me run my reality, my beliefs, and my feelings. So I am just letting all of that happen without any particular conscious awareness, without choosing any conscious awareness, without trying to intervene in any way. And that level of living at level 0, we can't help it. There's no good or bad, right or wrong, but we are an absolute literal victim of our mind and of the circumstances happening around us. We're just operating from programs, from beliefs, right, that we've taken on earlier in life, yesterday, who knows? Because if we're at that level of unconsciousness, we're getting programmed all the time by life and what other people say and think. So we're just living this responsive, reactive, completely powerless life. And what that means is, in one moment, someone's going to give me a compliment. I'm going to eat a candy bar. I'm going to watch a great TV show and I'm going to feel amazing. I'm going to go to the beach and see a beautiful sunset and feel amazing. 5 minutes later, somebody's going to criticize me. Someone's going to cut me off on the freeway and I'm mad as hell. Later that night, later that day, I go grocery shopping and it's super expensive and I'm going to feel really powerless and miserable. And then later on, I'm going to eat that candy bar and feel way, way better and even empowered for a second. And then the next day, I'm going to realize that my relationships suck. There's all this conflict and dissatisfaction, and I'm going to just be miserable. And maybe I'm getting depressed depending on what my relationships are like, depending on the level of suffering in my life. Maybe I'm depressed. Maybe I'm really, really anxious about money and scared and of all these survival fears. Maybe I'm just highly, highly irritable because I'm constantly reacting, ping-ponging based on what other people are doing around me, right? So this is life at level 0, just reactive, responsive to whatever's happening, completely disempowered, anxious, depressed, happy for moments. And when we're at that level of awareness and choice, that's just how it's always going to be. So what I call level 1 is just that first decision. Wait, this kind of sucks. And most human beings do, of course, get to level 1. So level 1 is learning to rearrange the deck chairs. So this is a horrible, horrible expression, actually. Comes from the stories about the Titanic. We can keep rearranging the deck chairs. It's not going to stop the Titanic from shifting. That's where the expression comes from. Basically, we can keep rearranging the deck chairs, meaning make changes to the circumstances in our lives. I also like the expression getting our ducks in a row. Right? Have you ever tried? I mean, could you imagine trying to get ducks in a row? That reminds me, my parents have this childhood video. We had these rabbits in the backyard, and there's this video of me running around the backyard. I'd go get this, try to catch this giant rabbit who was named Joey. I'd pick him up and I'd bring him over to one end of the yard. And as soon as I put him down, he ran over to the other end again. And then I'd run back after him. And this is just going on for however many minutes in this video. So instead of trying to get my ducks in a row, I was trying to get my rabbits in a row. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the endless pursuit of, if I just had a better job, I would feel better. Life would be great. If I just had a little bit more money, life would be great. If I had a different partner, if I had a different partner, life would be great. Oh, if I looked different, if I lost 20 pounds, life would be great. You know what? And we might work on one of those things. We might try to work on all those things, right? And then it's like at the smallest level. If I just buy another dress or shirt on Amazon today, if I go out for dinner, if I, like it can be at the smallest level to the biggest level of needing the bigger house, the bigger job, to win the lottery. So, it's at all levels. We can, once we get on this path of trying to rearrange our external circumstances, it's endless, and it can become addictive if we have, because of course, sometimes when I do buy something new or go out for a great meal or go on a date, it is for a moment or an hour or a few days kind of exhilarating. And I feel amazing. And when we have those experiences, it can become addictive. But here's the thing: rearranging the deck chairs, trying to get the ducks or rabbits in a row is only ever momentarily satisfying. I'm guessing most of you here, if you're watching this video, you're probably well beyond this level, probably know that. All right, so that's just level one, rearranging the deck chairs. The next level, my level two, is when we want to start taking a little bit more control of our experience. The next level, and this is where coaching and therapy is great, is we start to say, what are the ways that I'm showing up that are contributing to my life not being what I want it to be, being painful, feeling depressed, angry, anxious, unsatisfied, resentful, unfulfilled, unsatisfied, whatever it is. What are the ways that I'm showing up that are creating that? We can start to look for the patterns, and we can start to see that we learned certain behaviors as a child. Usually it's when we learned it. It was something we learned back then, thinking from a young consciousness that it was going to make us feel better. Of course, that's the only reason we took on all these behaviors, which I like to call protective strategies. It's what they are. But we took them on from a young level of consciousness, and we're still doing them today. So the list of possibilities is endless. I'm going to just give you my story. So I learned at a very early age. There were a lot of very unhappy and angry people around me, and people that would lash out a lot. And so I learned to people please. Let me be who people want me to be. Let me tell them what they want to hear. Let me adjust the look on my face, the posture of my body, so that it's non-threatening, and it helps abate any tension, and that's going to keep me safe. And you know what? I got really good at that, and over the years that became way more sophisticated and even conscious. Anyway, just one example of a coping strategy learned early in life that later in life becomes very restrictive. It creates so many limitations, not the least of which is just one path and pattern of hundreds, right? People pleasing then causes us to never be able to be fully authentic, be ourselves. And we miss out on so many experiences because of that. So basically, coping strategies that we took on cause so much limitation. They cause pain. There's always going to be a backlash to that and a shadow side to that. So this level two is saying, how am I showing up? Starting to own that. So this can be a difficult process. It can be hard to recognize these things in ourselves. It can take us down these tempting paths of wanting to blame our parents in childhood or other influences. That doesn't help. Believe me, that just creates more pain. But this is level two, right? Starting to take some ownership of our state of being, starting to take some control, to recognize that we have some control. So this is pretty amazing. And even as you progress with this, right, and you're starting to see it, own it, make some changes, it's going to take you to a certain level of newfound empowerment, feeling better about yourself, more in control of your life. And you're still going to have those experiences of feeling dissatisfied, disempowered, angry, resentful. That's still going to happen. It's the difference is you're going to have more awareness of it and some ability to own and control what's happening in you. But we're still at a level where there's limitation. And again, I'm just going to keep repeating the important points. It doesn't matter if this is what you're choosing, if this is where you are and this is where you stay. It's all perfect. Whatever you choose is perfect. But just know that even this level, if you've done 10 years of therapy or coaching and all this personal work, this is not going to get you to that level of consistent contentment and peace. So if that's what you're looking for, there's more work to do. So my level 3, this is where all the neuroscience books come in, and also all the people out there who are promoting meditation, all of our coaches. So now my level 3, we're at the point now where we're ready to start saying, to recognize, yes, I took on behaviors, but ultimately what's at the root of my state of being, how I'm feeling, what's at the root of the way my life is unfolding right now are my thoughts and my beliefs. So this goes deeper. It's a deeper level of awareness, recognition, and ownership and understanding. And it's our thoughts and beliefs that in every moment control how we're feeling, our next choice, our next action. And our thoughts and our beliefs are always created in the past, and our thoughts are typically a product of those beliefs that were created in the past. So it's our past that's creating our present and our future and how we feel about the past. So that's what we want to start to understand, that as long as I might understand again who I'm being and why, but until I start to take this next level of control and action over my beliefs and my thoughts, which are controlling the now and next, it's not going to change. Right? That's why I'm still feeling unhappy, because that past is still, those past beliefs and experiences are still running me. And the second thing to know, this is something we can know about the mind. You don't need to read any books to know this. But the mind, just look at your own experience, right? But the mind prioritizes negative experiences in the past. And in a way, thank you. I mean, this is a gift. It's doing this to keep us safe, right? So the reason it does that is because if something went well yesterday, it's a fun memory, but I don't need to remember that to be safe. I need to remember the bad things so that I don't repeat those. That's basically how the mind works. What do I need to remember so that I don't create more pain and suffering tomorrow? The problem is when this is all happening unconsciously, it's not happening in a very intelligent way. So it's quite simplistic. It's quite predictable. So like here's a silly example. How many times in your life have you been to the grocery store, right? And how many times was that completely uneventful and you don't remember them? But if there was a time when you went to the grocery store and somebody backed into you in a parking lot, or somebody screamed at you, just something out of the ordinary and something uncomfortable happened, you're going to remember that grocery store trip. And maybe it happened there was somebody backed into you and really damaged your car at a certain grocery store, or something worse happened. Chances are you're never going to want to go to that grocery store again, right? Your mind is going to keep telling you, don't go there, even though you went there 200 times and that bad thing only happened once. So silly example. Mind is always going to pay attention to those negative memories that create fear in us until we fully understand this concept, and then we take action to clear those memories. We're living in an amazing time in history, from what I can tell, when it's absolutely possible to go back and rewire our memories. We don't change our past and what happened, but we change how we feel about it. And as soon as we change, really, to be very, very direct, all we do is bring the levels of fear down. So I can remember that day, that grocery store, someone backing into me, damaging my car. I can remember that with no emotional charge. This is very easy to do these days. There are lots of ways to do that. Soon as I do that, my mind is not going to care anymore about that particular day. It's not going to remind me of it. I'm not going to avoid that grocery store. Very simplistic example. And we want to extrapolate that out in all ways as we look at our lives, right? From how we feel about ourselves, our relationships, our financial life, our sense of safety in the world, right? Those experiences in the past that cause us to take on protective strategies that are still running us today. So, how much of those bad experiences, really, I like to use the word neutralize, we're just neutralizing the fear in them, that creates freedom to make new choices with full consciousness, full intelligence with our hearts now. So this is, I think, what did I say? This is my level 3. Level 3, owning, really understanding our thoughts and beliefs that are creating our reality. Clearing that, cleaning that up, which is absolutely doable and possible. And this is going to create the next level, way more ease in life. All that anxiety, worry, fear is going to start to dissipate. Depression and powerless is going to start to dissipate as we clean that up, clean up those data files, so to speak. And it's going to create a whole lot more ease. Now, if this is where you choose to land, this is a great place to land, right? This is good. It's going to make life so much easier. But there are higher levels. You can get here and realize, well, I feel comfortable, but am I really feeling the levels of joy that I want, the level of peace, that deep connection, deep experience of love? Am I feeling that? You might not be. And that's because when we get to level 4, we want to start making choices, not living from just what's happening, what's unfolding. So the level 4 is this level of claiming, understanding our actual power in life. This is a big one. I'm 57 for the record. It's taken me a long time to really understand and own that we fully create our reality. 100%. I've been on this journey of, okay, I'll accept it 20%. All right, I'll accept it 40%. I got about 50%, and we can get up to, I'm going to own it 80%. But there's things that happen in our lives that we don't want to own. No, that just happened. I didn't have any choice or control over that. The world just happens. I don't have any choice or control over that. This is a whole other journey of getting to 100% ownership, understanding that we are creating our reality. Everything that happens to us, for us, from us, with us, we're creating that. And until we get there, we're always going to be slightly or significantly disempowered. There's always going to be a level of what's going to happen next. I don't know, and I want this, but I don't know how to create that. Or I don't know how to sustain that. Or I don't know how to go beyond some sort of ceiling. That's a big one. Don't know how to go beyond a ceiling. But once we start to fully own our creative power, who we actually are, what we actually are, then the game changes. right? And now anything and everything is possible. And, once we really truly start to adopt, step into, embody, understand this, now it's just a matter of curiosity and excitement. What do I want to create? Oh, what did I just create? What information is that giving me? What do I want to create next? What do I maybe need to go clean up a little? But now we can step fully out of fear into this ownership, curiosity, excitement, and possibility. So that's level 4. Is that the end of it? Nope, it's not. I mean, honestly, this journey is ongoing. I'm going to give you 5 levels today, and there's probably levels beyond that I haven't even discovered yet. So, what the heck is level 5? So now, level 5 is transcending the mind. If you're still with me, if this is resonating for you, you've probably experienced, as have I, that in all those earlier levels, and many of them, we can have glimpses, we can have understanding, we can be exposed to the idea that our mind is inherently limited. It's not, it's a limited functional system in this body here to protect us. And interesting thing about this lifetime is we come in with different levels of intellectual capacity and interests and possibilities, but for everybody, it's limited. And it's always going to have that element of wanting to protect, even when we get to level 4, right? And we've cleared out beliefs in level 3 and level 4, we're really owning our creative capacity. If we're doing that all from the mind, it's still going to be protective in nature and it's going to be limited. So, and again, most of us have had glimpses that there is intelligence, unlimited intelligence beyond the mind, and just unlimited experience. So beyond the mind, when I'm not trying to protect myself, I'm not limited in the ideas that I can formulate, conceptualize, understand. I can access the quantum field. I can access the field of everything that's ever been created, thought of, conceptualized, imagined, everything right there. You may have heard the concept that beyond the mind, beyond this life in this body, time doesn't actually exist. Time is a construct that just helps our mind manage this lifetime, manage all the information. But what we mean when we say that beyond this physical form and this limited life, time doesn't exist, it means that everything already exists. The past, the present, and the future. So for each of us, for all of us, all of humanity, every other life form out there, anything that's ever been created, conceptualized, already exists. And there is a field of information, of knowing, of wisdom that actually has no limits. There's no barriers, there's no gate. You don't need a ticket. You don't have to learn how to access it. You don't need a computer. It's about that level 4, really knowing that we create our reality, knowing what reality is, that it's unlimited, that it contains everything that's ever existed or going to exist. And when we step out of the mind, we can access that. Anybody can. Anybody has access to all of that wisdom, knowing, possibility, creation, creativity, but also that's where we have access to unlimited peace, joy, love. Sometimes I think part of the reason that it takes us decades to get to this understanding is because it might just literally physically blow up our mind if we access that too soon, too early, without the capacity, without some kind of context for it. And actually, seriously, separately, another conversation for another day, but that does happen to people when they expand their mind, their energy, themselves to a new level. When they do it too fast, it can actually create psychotic breaks and real issues in the mind. It actually really does happen. But this is level 5, beyond the mind, accessing who we truly are, whatever you like to call that, energy beings, spirit, soul. I like to call it, there's this, we're just sort of living in a world created by source energy. It's just all. There was source energy, which is now everything energy. I think I'm going to start calling it that. That's going to be my term. It's just everything energy. And because source makes it, I don't know, there's some sort of time component to that. I'm going to call it everything energy. There's just everything energy. Everything is everything energy. But we as beings are individuated everything energy, just small pieces, chunks of individuated energy. So is every, of course, animals, every life form, and minerals, rocks, plants, everything is an individual. Everything that appears to be an individual something or object or being is individuated everything energy. But as everything energy, just an individuated piece of it, we have access to everything, all the peace, love, joy, pain, if we choose to invite it, fear, if we choose to invite that, all the resources, the creations. We have intelligence, healing. We have access to all of it. And this is where miracles happen, right? Spontaneous healings, amazing creations people come up with, these just amazing ideas and inventions and understandings. It comes from people going beyond their limited protective minds. And whether by choice, intention, learning how to access everything energy, my new name for it, or sometimes by accident and just moments that come and go. I've spent a lot of my life, because I had lots of glimpses of this early on, I spent a lot of my life cultivating what I called intuition, which is this. It is when we are receiving intuition, accessing intuition, we are accessing that everything energy. We are accessing everything. And so that's the level 5. And that's, anything's possible from there. And we're going to see, as I continue on my journey and with these videos, I don't know, one day will I find myself creating a level 6 and beyond? I have no idea. This is my understanding so far. So I hope that this is a little bit inspiring, a lot inspiring, validating, affirming. Could be a little bit uncomfortable. It could have been for me earlier in life, for sure. And there's no question. I'll be talking about that later too. Sometimes when we're not fully ready for the next level, it's really uncomfortable. Okay, that's it for video number 2. I don't even know what's going to be in video number 3 yet. If you're reading this, I hope that you will leave a comment, a thought, participate with me on this journey. Bye for now.